How's it going, folks? Welcome back to the channel, Reverie in the Philippines. Today's video is going to be about your passport and visa extensions. Stay tuned. I'm back. We're going to be talking a little bit in this video. We're going to be talking about a little bit in sequence, kind of how I came over to the Philippines. Because I was leaving out of Kentucky, what I did was I booked a flight from Nashville, Tennessee to LAX in California, and then from there I flew from LAX. I flew over to Manila. And then from Manila, that's when I arrived here in Butuan. But in this case, what you have to do is, if you're planning on, I'm only going to speak for the Philippines, it's the only country I come to. So how I had to do it, there's several steps you got to do to make sure you got everything in order that when you arrive in Manila, because they're going to be asking for certain documents and stuff like that. One of them is going to be your passport, that's for sure. And here later on in the video, I'm going to explain what this little piece of paper is. You're also going to have your vaccination card to show you've been vaccinated. Or when you get to the airport in Manila, from what I understand, you can be tested there if you have not been vaccinated. Also, on arrival in Manila, you have the United States is like one of the countries that you get a 29-day free visa. So you don't have to apply for a visa upon or before coming to the Philippines unless you plan on staying longer. Now, from what I understand is you can go online and you can file for an extension before coming into the Philippines if you plan on staying longer than 29 days. But one of the first things you have to do before you want to make sure that you have is the e-travel. That's something you're going to go on. You go on to e-travel, Philippines.gov or Philippines. It's usually the first link when you first type in e-travel Philippines. It's the first link. It's pretty legit. You're going to fill out all that information and everything like that. It's going to ask you about your vaccination, and it's going to ask for your passport number and all that kind of stuff. And then it will give you a code, a barcode, or what is it they call it? It's right off the top of my head right now, but I can't take a QR code. And you'll get that QR code. What I normally did was I just snapshotted it off my phone and took it with me. In some cases, I've heard that they didn't ask for it, but in my case, they asked for it. They asked for it every time. They also asked for my vaccination card. So anyway, your 29 days, I had the 29 days. Now, I came here about a year ago, and I stayed just short shy of 29 days. So I also had a return ticket, which it was a round-trip flight. That's one of the other things that you're going to also need. If you're planning on coming to the Philippines and staying less than 29 days, you're going to have to show some type of ticket that's leaving out of the country. But if you're planning on coming to the Philippines and you're going to stay longer than 29 days, and you know you're going to stay for 29 days, you can go online, book you a flight out of the Philippines. In my case, what I did was I booked a flight, found the cheapest flight I could find, and booked it out of the Philippines. I believe it was going to Hong Kong, and it was barely at $100. So that was pretty cheap for me. And then when I got to Manila and they asked for my passport, they asked for my vaccination card, my QR code, my e-travel, and they asked about my return ticket. I just showed them on my phone. It had a flight number and all that kind of stuff. Once I got through that process, and I finally got to my final, when I got to my final destination in the Philippines, I basically canceled the flight, and that little bit of money went back into my account. So I was within that time frame of canceling my flight. So, but if you're planning on coming to the Philippines and you're going to stay longer than 29 days, that's what I would suggest you do. There's also some places they call throwaway ticket. You can go online. You can do some research on that. I didn't personally do that because I didn't want to go through the trouble of having, once I got to Manila, that maybe there was going to be an issue or anything. So I tried to make. I was willing just to book a flight for $100. So, but if you're planning on coming to the Philippines and you're going to stay longer than 29 days, that's what I would suggest you do. There's also some places they call throwaway ticket. You can go online. You can do some research on that. I didn't personally do that because I didn't want to go through the trouble of having, once I got to Manila, that maybe there was going to be an issue or anything. So I tried to make. I was willing just to book a flight for $100 to Hong Kong and just be done with it. And I did it within that 29 days that I knew I was going to need it. So, but I knew I was going to come here to the Philippines, and I was going to be here much longer. Actually, I'm coming here to move. I'm going to be starting the process of moving here and everything like that. So I'm going to be following the extensions and all that kind of stuff, going the proper way how the Philippines want you to do it. So right before my 29 days, I went. You had to go to the Bureau of Immigration. Like I think there was one in Manila, but when the COVID thing was going around, they changed the rules a little bit. So you can go get these extensions, and you can go. Usually, there's some in just about every town or somewhere real close to the town that you're going to in the Philippines, and you can just do your extensions there. Now, for the 13A visa, that's a different story. I found out that the immigration, that I can't do the 13A there. I have to go all the way to another one that's about 2 hours away, which that's not no big deal. That's not a big problem and everything like that. We'll ride out there and we'll take care of that when that time comes. But I did my first extension just a few weeks ago, and I'm coming up. And your first extension is another 29 days, and I did that 2 weeks before my 29 days was up, and I went to the Bureau of Immigration here in Butuan, where I got my extension. So your first go around is like 20. You get an extra 29 days. Anyway, that's what's on this paper right here. But in your passport, they're not going to stamp your passport. Okay. Now, when you go to get that extension, now the only time they're going to give you that stamp is when you arrive in Manila. Not in Manila. Well, you'll get it in Manila, but you'll get it upon arriving in the Philippines. When you go through immigration and all that, they'll give you a good stamp. They'll give you a stamp. Like in my case, like right here, they got it stamped right there. I don't know if you see that or not, but anyway. But when I went and got my extension, I was thinking that they were going to put a stamp in my book. But you will need this, and you'll also need your vaccination card, just like if you were going to show at the airport. So they're going to want to see this. So it was a real simple process. It wasn't really that hard at all. I mean, if the whole process for the extension for the 30 days probably didn't even take 10 minutes. I did have a little glitch. I didn't have a 2x2 picture, so it was, by coincidence, there was right across the street, there was a photo place right there right across the street that does pictures for IDs, like for passports and so on and everything like that. And I think they charged me like 30 pesos. What they're going to do is they're going to give you this paper here. They're going to write it down in the paper. what I did was it gives you basically a receipt right here. They give you the receipt, and it's signed by the Bureau of Immigration, and it'll have a date on here basically telling you, and like in my case, when the extension will expire. In my case, my extension here is going to expire on the 18th of July, which we're coming right up on that. It won't be very long. So you'll need to keep this piece of paper on you at all times. You cannot go without it. What I did do is I just fold it up. I fold it up along with my vaccination card, and I put it inside my passport, and I carry it anytime I'm leaving out on the motorbike. I got it on me. So because they have checkpoints here in the Philippines, if you don't know. Some of them were surprised, some of them are not. So I never went through, had to stop through a checkpoint. So it's I mean, but like I said, it's a gamble. You don't want to go through there and then you not have none of this stuff. Because one of the reasons why is because in some cases I've seen on other blogs that where foreigners have came over to the Philippines and they didn't have these documents on them, and they went through these checkpoints, and it's up to, under their own discretion what they want to do. I mean, they can impound your motorbike and make you start walking. So you want to make sure you have all this stuff. Also, bring that up on a motorbike deal. I'm only speaking because I'm from the United States. I don't know about other countries, or what the laws are here in the Philippines for other countries. But if you're a U.S. citizen and you come into the Philippines, your regular driver's license from the United States is good for 90 days. So you can actually drive on that for 90 days. So that's another little thing that I didn't know until I got here. Now, getting into the part where you want to, talking about if you're seeing a Filipina, you're engaged to a Filipina and stuff like that, and you're thinking of doing the marriage here or getting married here in the Philippines, that is a whole different process. I'm going to tell you, there is a lot of paperwork that is involved in all that. To me, I think it would be I know in the United States it's way much easier. Now, as far as her being from the Philippines, then coming over to the United States, then getting married, I know there's a lengthy process with all that kind of stuff and everything like that. But with how things are going and everything like that. But to me, sounds like it probably would be much easier to get married in the United States, because there is a truckload of paperwork you have to go through, a lot of verification and everything like that. That is a totally whole new video. I will be doing another video, and that will be one of the subjects, and what the process was and what we had to go through. There was a lot of trips. It was back and forth and back and forth. We had to go do this. We had to go to a Cinemar, and then we had to go to another Cinemar. We had to go to family planning, and then all this stuff. So it is a lengthy thing. You got to have all these documents to go get the other document. You can take them documents and you go get that document, and then you got to go across town. You got to do this and do that. I mean, you got to have a lot of patience for it. But if you're going to go, you're planning on going to any country, and you just haven't done it, I would just suggest doing it, because you don't know until you get there. Philippines is one of the countries that's known for having the nicest people, and that is very true. The people here in this country are very nice. There's many cases where I've heard of foreigners being here, and like there was one video I heard where a guy broke down on his motorbike that he rented, and someone helped him get back out on the road again and didn't charge him a dime. They was just there to help him. So people around here, they have to have, their culture here is just being nice to one another. I mean, I get people waving at me all the time, saying hi, and people walk up to me and talk to me all the time and stuff like that. And everywhere you go, I mean, it's just good hospitality. It's a very welcoming country. So at the end of this video, I mean, it could be anywhere. If you want to go to Singapore, you want to go to Vietnam, if you want to go anywhere in Southeast Asia, To me, I would just suggest maybe try and just take a vacation out here in the Philippines to see what I'm talking about. One of the most beautiful places I can tell you of right now, is one of the most breathtaking places I ever been to in my life and ever seen, and that's Boracay Island with White Beach and Station 2. That's one of the most beautiful places on the earth. It's just phenomenal. I mean, but anyway, before you take off, you thinking about flying out to the Philippines, make sure you have the passport, and definitely make sure you have your vaccine card and have that QR code, and you'll have no problems. That sometimes also, like I said, they don't even ask for a return ticket. In my case, they did ask for a return ticket, but I've heard cases where they didn't even ask for it. So hopefully this video got out enough information for you. And as always, don't let your hearts be troubled. And we'll see you on the next video.